Hey guys, it's Karlyn Borysenko with Decode the Left. This is an exclusive live stream over on my Substack at Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. And I don't even know how many people are going to show up. It's like almost midnight on the East Coast on Friday. And some may say this is ill-advised. Some might say this stream is ill-advised because I'm going to be honest, I just did my happy hour stream and I've had a couple of beers. So why are you streaming after a couple beers on the internet, Karlyn? Well, oh, hey, Brooklyn. Glad you're here. Hey, Donnie. See you. Reagan. Everyone's joining. Hey, maybe I'll get a better crowd than I thought for almost midnight on a Friday. Can I share with you guys something that is absolutely mind-blowing and terrifying? Absolutely terrifying. Unequivocally terrifying at the same time. That other Jenny said, I slammed pumpkin cider and it was wonderful. I thought that was fucking fabulous. Can I tell you guys something that is both amazing, mind-blowing, and terrifying at the same time? We know more than the White House does about Antifa. Can we just all pause for a second? Antifa are legit domestic terrorists. They're going to enact violence on all of society until they overthrow the government. And me and you, the intrepid people who follow my work, we know more about Antifa than the White House does. And I've thought this for a long time, and it has always privately terrified me because it is still, can I just tell you guys, it is still just unbelievably crazy to me that I'm the only person that does what I do. I can't wrap my head around this. How did this happen? But what's even more crazy to me than I am the only person who is doing this is we know more than the White House. And now I absolutely know that to be true. I absolutely know that to be true. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me turn this around. This is the scene in Chicago tonight, where Antifa is trying to burn down the Broadview facility, the Broadview Immigration Detention Center in Chicago. And Antifa is basically starting a war. They've been at it for hours. There's already been people arrested. Like there's many people covering this on the internet. And the thing of it is I told you this was going to happen several days ago. I literally told you this was going to happen 3 days ago. And the reason I told you this was going to happen 3 days ago is because Antifa, through its publishing arm CrimethInc, posted explicitly that they wanted to tear down the Broadview Immigration Detention Facility in Chicago. They posted this explicitly on their website on September 23rd. I literally reported this the very next day. The very next fucking day. In fact, let me just I need to change hands here because I need to type my Substack into the chat and hopefully it comes up. Oh no, I'm live. Oh no, we don't want a meta experience with me being live and then showing the live stream. We don't, no, we don't want that at all. Okay, scroll down. But I want to show you that I literally, how can I silence myself? There we go, mute myself on the screen. I want to show you that I literally covered this on the channel 3 days ago. I want to show you this. Hang on. Not that. Shit, did I post this on the Substack? Hang on. Did I post this on the Substack or did I post this on YouTube? I definitely posted it oh, here it is right here. Antifa. It's the second story. September 25th. I covered it the day before. I posted it on September 26th on the Substack. Antifa discusses attacking ICE deportation facilities in Chicago. Hear it directly from their own documents. That was yesterday, but I covered this the day before on my stream, and then I posted it the day after on here. And we knew more than Stephen Miller at the White House. Stephen Miller saying today, just an hour ago, breaking, Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller declares leftists are committing domestic terrorist sedition against the federal government as ICE facilities are under siege. DOJ is immediately deploying the Joint Terrorism Task Force to ICE Broadview, Chicago. All necessary resources will be utilized, says Stephen Miller. Mass arrests now. We knew about this before the White House, guys. We knew about this before the White House. That's fucking crazy. Now, listen, I'm very happy that they're deploying this terrorism task force to Chicago. This is a situation that's just going to continue to escalate. Chicago is extremely leftist. They have a very active far left contingent there. They're going to try to burn down that facility. That document that I showed you on Antifa's website, that's literally about burning down the facility. Go and read it. It's on crimethink.com or .org, whatever they are. And it's like, how is this possible? I don't feel an insignificant amount of pressure if I'm being honest about it. How is it possible that we knew about this before the White House? How is this possible? I'm really glad they're taking care of the situation. I hope they arrest every single person there. But how is this possible that the White House didn't know about this until 3 days after I knew about this? And until 2 days after I reported it on my channel? How is this possible? I am not doing magic over here. I don't have some secret sauce over here. I am a middle-aged woman in my second bedroom researching the left on the internet and going to their events sometimes. But how is it possible that I have a better handle on what Antifa is doing in this country than the White House? This is terrifying to me. It's absolutely terrifying because, to be quite frank, it shouldn't be this way. I'd never trained to be a journalist, guys. I'm a great researcher. I know how to put together information. I'm very good at analyzing the psychology of social systems. I have a lot of strengths when it comes to doing what I do. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a trained journalist at all. I've never worked in government. But I'm very, very confused about why I know more about what's going on than literally everyone else. This is terrifying to me. And I feel a lot of pressure to do this well. And I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like I have a burden on my shoulders that shouldn't really be on my shoulders. But because there's no one else doing this, I feel like it is on my shoulders. And maybe that's just something I'm making up. I don't know. But the fact that the White House doesn't know what's going on until days after I know what's going on, that is disturbing to me. And this is not the first time something like this has happened. This is not, I cover things all the time that make it into national media like a week later or a month later or sometimes even years later. Sometimes I will literally, for people who are new, for sometimes I will literally cover a story years ahead of time and then it hits national news like 2 years later. That's happened on more than one occasion. And I'm always like, fucking really, man? Really? Really? I was right? Holy shit. Holy shit. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let me see. Sheila says, is there any connection between Antifa and the accelerationist groups proliferating on the internet? I would have to see what groups you're talking about. I'm not sure the answer to that, to be honest. Steve and oh shit, hang on. Steve and Colin says, do you still think they won't go to jail? We need to defund and disbar the lawyers that aid them. Listen, man, they haven't been arresting Antifa. This is one of the most bizarre things I've seen. I've seen multiple instances of obvious Antifa groups that I look at and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Antifa, that's Antifa. This is not even hard, right? I've seen multiple instances of Antifa groups attacking ICE facilities that are not getting arrested in any way. In fact, ICE is like fighting with them and trying to like fend them off and stuff like that. And I'm like, excuse me, government, excuse me. Like, didn't you just declare all these people domestic terrorists like two days ago? Why aren't you going out in force and arresting them? Arrest every single person in Black Bloc. Arrest every single person that's using a weapon against ICE. Arrest every single person that's blocking ICE vehicles. Arrest them all. I don't care if you need to bring in a bus. I don't care if you need to bring in 7 buses. Arrest them all. Because that's what you promised us, Trump. That's what you fucking promised us. You promised us you were going to arrest them all. And they're still out on the street right now attacking deportation facilities. And this is just going to keep going and they're just going to keep getting worse. Do you know how I know they're going to get worse? Because they're writing about how they're going to get worse on their own damn websites. And now I question if anyone in government even knows this is happening, because I knew what was going on at that Chicago immigration facility 3 days before the fucking White House. What Trump needs to do, this idea that he wrote about in his domestic terrorism order of entrusting Pam Bondi to identify a list of Antifa, that's absurd. That's absurd. What Trump needs to do is he needs to create a definition that defines who is and is not in Antifa based on their behaviors. If you are showing up to a protest in Black Bloc, you are determined to be part of Antifa. If you are showing up to a protest with an umbrella or any other form of weapon, like a bag of rocks, you are deemed to be part of Antifa. If you show up to a protest and try to provoke the cops to cause an altercation, then you are considered to be a part of Antifa. If you show up to a protest and you engage in any sort of civil disobedience, I don't care if you're just a dirty hippie that doesn't know better. You are deemed to be part of Antifa. And you can go to jail for a little while and you can sit in that facility because you're trying to prevent the execution of lawful actions. And you can go in front of the judge and the judge can then determine, do your behaviors warrant more scrutiny? That's how I feel about it. Trump needs to define who is and is not in Antifa based on their behaviors, because I don't think that enough people are going to get arrested based on everything I've seen today, which is they're basically arresting no one. You guys understand this, right? The military, the cops, they could arrest everyone at a moment's notice. They're outside of a militarized facility. They could arrest everyone at a moment's notice. You surround them, you move in, you put them in fucking handcuffs, you load them on a bus, you take them to fucking jail. And you keep them there. just like the January 6th defendants. Because the most important thing that needs to happen with Antifa is they need to get taken off the streets. They need to be prevented from organizing. They need to be prevented from communicating with each other. Because as long as Antifa is in the streets, as long as Antifa is able to communicate with each other, they will be organizing and they will be doing damage and they will be attacking facilities and they'll be attacking deportations, they'll be attacking police officers and all this bullshit. That's what needs to happen. Donnie says, are they afraid of pre-crime? I don't know about that, Donnie. I don't know. Okay, the chat has gone insane. And I can barely even read it now, so thank you guys for sending stuff in, but I can't even really see it on my screen for some reason. So I appreciate it. Would you consider yourself a potential advisor to the administration? The administration doesn't want to talk to me, guys. If the administration wants to talk to me, they can fucking call me, or they can email me, or they can text message me, or they can DM me on Twitter, or they can get in touch with me in any number of ways. I don't support Israel. I don't. In any way. And I'm very public about that, and I'm very vocal about that. And you're welcome to disagree with me on that, by the way. I don't need everyone to agree with me, but that is my position. And because I don't support Israel, the administration will never work with me because they care more about Israel than they do about America. And that's just reality. And that is the reality that I've been swimming against for years and years and years. And what's funny is there was a time when I didn't actually care about Israel. There was a time when I didn't actually care. And they were such dicks to me that they pushed me to the anti-Zionist perspective, not because it was an issue that I especially cared about, but it was because they kept pushing me in that direction. Yeah, that's what getting your information from the primary source does. Yeah, Donnie says, but this doesn't have anything to do with Israel. Donnie, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter that this has nothing to do with Israel. What matters is the administration will never work with me because I don't support Israel. And because if it ever got out that they worked with me, the ADL would have their ass. I promise you. And it's not even that I'm like the biggest problem in the world, because I'm not. I barely even talk about Israel. I barely even talk about the Jews. I cover the radical revolutionary far left in America. But did you guys see the response to my Fox News appearance? I was on Fox News for 2 minutes. And I had a hit piece written on me about how I said Hitler went to heaven 4 years ago because I don't believe that hell exists. And I was in the middle of a spiritual discussion and something was taken out of context. That tweet was 4 fucking years ago. And I had a hit piece written on me this past week for that single tweet because I was on Fox News. Now imagine what would happen if I went to work and advised the White House and somehow word got out about that. And listen, I always have non-disclosures with everything I do. I have non-disclosures with everything. So I always do a double non-disclosure when people ask me for advice. It's like, I'm not going to say I work with you. You're not going to say you work with me. And it's all going to be clever. So I have double non-disclosures with everything. And that way everyone can protect themselves from being canceled. But it's like, the White House is the White House. Someone is going to fucking find out. So I don't think I'll ever be asked to advise the administration. But if I was, I would tell them they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, they need to define Antifa based on their behaviors. And why the ever-loving F do I know what's going on 3 days ahead of time? I actually, like, in the real world, I want the White House to know more information than I do. I'm a woman sitting in my second bedroom in New Hampshire I have some political contacts in Washington, but I don't have, like, a lot. And I'm not constantly scrounging for information, so most of the time I just do my own research anyway. And it's like, how the ever-loving F is this possible? How the ever-loving F? So anyway, that's really all I have to say, and, I just needed to kind of, like, vent my frustrations slightly at the fact that I seem to know more than the White House about what's going on the far left. You know, guys, I'll continue doing my best. I'll continue doing my best to make sure people are as informed as possible. But that's terrifying. That's actually terrifying. I'm so good at my job. I know more than the fucking White House. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying the same thing over and over and over again. It just never it never ceases to shock me what's going on in this situation. It never ceases to shock and amaze me. But I'll keep doing my best, I guess. Anyway, that's all I have. It's midnight. Time to turn into a pumpkin or whatever. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.